Oh, just jump in, you guys. You don't have to raise
I
your
think
hand.
it's actually a form of white privilege and pick and choose. If she wants to be white, identify herself as white.
No,
And I've never known any of this about Amy until just now. We never had this discussion. So I hear that.
I want to back her up for a second.
Okay.
There's something called culture. And I think that a lot of oppression in this country is perpetuated by simplifying everything along black and white lines. But there's culture. And culture is much more complicated than the color of your skin. I can actually relate, although my experience and Amy's experiences are very different, I can relate to what she's saying because, actually, interestingly enough, even until I got into the African American Studies department, I never considered myself white. I still don't consider myself white. Because my Italian culture, for me, is who I am. Now, I understand that when I'm interacting with an African American person, they will relate to me as a white person because that's how they see me. And I can't really tell you, no, I'm not fair skinned. That's the way they relate to me. But in terms of how I can see myself differently, I can accept that you see me in a certain way, but also know that I don't have to see myself the way you see me. So for me, I'm Italian. As a matter of fact, when I'm interacting with typical European Americans who maybe are from suburbia or whose cultural background is mainly Anglo-Saxon, I would say Northern European, damn, I feel the difference. Because I have problems relating. I really have very strong problems relating with a totally European American space. As a Southern Italian, I often feel much more comfortable with Africans because culturally they're in a closer space. That's one of the reasons why I felt at home in the African American Studies department, because African Americans to some extent, not completely, but are physically closer. That physical distance, which is typical of Northern Europe, I saw it in Britain, you know, I saw it, that physical distance makes me uncomfortable. I'm used to being embraced. I'm used to going up to people and kissing them when I see them, which if I do with an African American is considered more normal than if I go up to a European American that I've never seen before. You know, when I go and I give them the 2 kisses, they look, you know, kind of freak out because it's like, it's 1 maximum. Generally it's none, if any, it's 1. What's this 2? Are you trying to keep me close? You're trying to not let go of me? So in terms, there's a cultural space, and I don't think, so for me it's a little bit different than for Amy's situation, but I do understand that there's a cultural, if she's been brought up in an African American cultural space, that's the cultural space she's comfortable with. And I think, yeah, there are issues that she needs to confront with herself in terms of how other people see her, but that doesn't mean that she has to renegade and reject everything she's been brought up with that makes her comfortable. Be happy, sis.
Well, I hope I didn't come across and say she has to reject any facet of her life. What I'm saying is the fact that she can choose to say she's not white.
No, I never said I wasn't white. I specifically said I was white.
Then what did you say? That you choose, you separate yourself.
No.
Well, put it in better terms. Maybe why don't you restate what you said, so that I'm not over here hanging in the wind.
No, because I always said that I was white, right? And I always said that I understand the white privilege that comes with that, and that comes with who I am. But at the same time, that I don't necessarily feel comfortable or a connection with other whites.
Then I misunderstood.
If I may, Joe earlier said, you know, he would interpret that as a form of white privilege, the ability to choose, you know, which social group it is that you're going to fit in with. And I would point my finger at Rita and say, Rita chooses not to identify as white. And I would say that is the ultimate exercise of privilege. I think that we as white folks, the fact that we are seen everywhere as white, and to us, because whiteness in America is the norm, it often functions as invisible to us until it's mentioned to us, when it often becomes hyper-visible. It often becomes very blatant, and we tend to get uncomfortable when that happens. I myself, it doesn't matter how I identify, just as it doesn't matter how Tiger Woods identifies. You know, Tiger Woods called himself what? Caucasian, or he Cobblinasian? Cobblinasian, thank you. Tiger Woods calls himself Cobblinasian. White folks call him black. Tiger Woods is still getting pulled over. You know, Tiger Woods is still getting treated as a black man. I'm of the opinion that, you know, wherever we go, we get treated as white folks, regardless of how it is we choose to identify. Autonomy is not really an applicable idea to white folks, I don't think, because we walk around as if race is not an issue. We walk around as people who are not racialized, and as a result, race functions in an invisible fashion for us. So for us to choose to not identify as racialized is a further perpetuation of our privileged situation.
Okay, I want to jump in on this.
Well, hold on, somebody's got a question.
I have a question for you. I'm just like really interested by that. Like you said, you're white and you know you're white. Then the one interesting thing you said was when you speak of whites, you don't say we, you say they. So isn't that
An issue? Yes.
like linguistically, then you aren't associating yourself as white. You're saying they, the other, like it's not you, part. So then, like that just, I don't know, like how do you, like it's like cognitive dissonance or something, like, I don't know.
I don't have an answer for you. That's what I've always done, and that's what I've always continued to do. I completely, like I said, I understand I'm white, I understand what comes with that, but I think, how do I explain it? I don't know. I'm not going to be able to give you a straight answer that I think will come across as acceptable, because what makes sense in my mind probably doesn't make sense to everybody